Rodney, and I'm so glad to be with you. We are going to make a gargoyle, and I just have some pictures here flashing before you of gargoyles around the world. Gargoyles are from mostly northern France, and they were influenced by the Gothic people, also of Eastern Germany. They were cathedrals and buildings, and most people don't really know exactly what they were there for. They could have been to scare away evil thoughts of people or evil spirits, but they could also have been to help people remember the terrors of being bad and how awful that was. So it's kind of a scary thing, but it's kind of fun too. And most true gargoyles were water spouts on castles and great churches called cathedrals where the water came out of their mouth. Most of the gargoyles were, as you can see, monstrous things, sometimes human lizard people, sometimes bats, sometimes monstrous lizards, and just scary creatures where the water actually served a purpose. Instead of gutters and downspouts like we have today, they shot the water away from the castle walls so they would not disintegrate. But like I said earlier, it was also to remind people, like, don't be bad, because if you are bad, there are evil spirits that will come and haunt you. And this is kind of perceived even today. Whether you know it or not, there's a Blue Jackets gargoyle up on the top level of the Blue Jackets Stadium in downtown Columbus. And some gargoyles are kind of whimsical and cute. Some are just mischievous. But you can see they're really not real creatures. They're kind of creatures of nightmares or dreams. Here's one that I made of polymer clay. And here's one, a mask that I made one time. It's kind of a gargoyle mask. And here's one I made, another one of polymer clay that actually shoots water out of its mouth. This is one, just a toy that I have in my room. And these are ceramic clay gargoyles. This is like an alien one that I have made in the past out of ceramic. Most original gargoyles from northern France were carved of stone. And what we are going to do today is take some packaging equipment and make gargoyles of it. There'll be two different topics.
So here we go. We're going to build a gargoyle.
And you'll either have one subject or the other.
A black piece of cloth.
Get ready,
like this,
and here we go.
a chunk of Sculpey like this, and either one of either this piece of cardboard packaging or this one. So what I'm going to do is do a gargoyle of each of these. Now, as you learned in the previous part, gargoyles were water spouts. They were kind of scary. They were kind of like, what's going on? People liked them. They still do today because it kind of reminds us of the evil that's out there and to be a good person and to look out for evil. So what I'm going to do first is take this part and I'm going to build a gargoyle out of it. Now, gargoyles can be anything. They have been movie monsters, they've been Godzilla, they've been politicians, they've been rock stars, and so you can let your mind roll on that. I think in the previous thing I said there's a little gargoyle that most people don't know about on the top of the Blue Jackets Stadium. It's of Stinger. He sits on a shelf way up high on one of the top floors of the stadium. So they're all over the place. The ones in the Middle Ages, which is from the 5th century to the 15th century, 1,000 years, they became more and more because people were like really afraid of the devil and demons and stuff. So that's why a lot of gargoyles look like bats or monsters or lizards or part human, part whatever. They had big ears and like funky noses and fangs, and like, they were kind of scary, but they reminded people to be good. Okay? So what I've done is I've taken my Super Sculpey, you unwrap it, and it's kind of hard when you break it off, but when you work it in your fingers, it gets really, really soft and wonderfully malleable, or malleable, which means you can work it. Yeah. So what I did was, for my gargoyle, I thought this could kind of be a cool unicorn gargoyle. Like I said, they could be anything. And so I made a horn on the top. I made two bulging eyes, a couple of nostrils here. I put fangs on it. Who's ever seen a gargoyle with fangs? And then we're going to use a little bit of a black marker to help accentuate some of the stuff. You can use a color marker, it's okay. This stuff is cardboard, so it's very workable, real easy to do, and I'm going to show you what I've already built with some of this Super Sculpey. I put it in a toaster oven, and I baked it at 250 degrees for 15 minutes. Not a microwave oven, but a regular oven or a little toaster oven, 250 degrees, 15 minutes. And what I've made is different parts that I'm going to put on this gargoyle. And how I'm going to attach them is with a hot glue gun. Now, if you don't have a hot glue gun, which we recommended you get, they're pretty cheap. Mine is a low temp and high temp, but you could also probably use like Gorilla Glue, or probably Elmer's glue would work okay too. What I've done is made in advance, like I made a gargoyle, unicorn rather, horn that I'm going to fit right on the top. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. That's my gargoyle horn. I put a little hot glue on there. And if you've never worked with hot glue, it sets up in about 10 seconds, so really, really fast. I press it into place. Don't get it on you because it lives up to its name, hot glue. Hello, it's hot. I'm going to put a little bit more under here just to seal it off. So it looks like that. Gotta get more hot glue. This is a hot glue stick I put in the back. Okay, so then I got that. What I did also is I made a couple of eyeballs. Did you notice in the video how so many of the gargoyles look like they get their eyes bulging out and kind of scary? So I made a couple for this gargoyle, and I'm going to poke, these are going to be the eyeballs. I'm going to poke a hole in this cardboard. It's kind of easy to do. I'm using a bamboo skewer. If anything that's really sharp and hard, you can have your parent or some older person help you. It could be a knife, like a pocket knife or a paring knife in the kitchen. A pair of scissors would even work. But I poke a hole in there. I'm going to use scissors for this one. And open it up. And look out, you don't want to get your hand behind that and get hurt, okay? Okay, so that's kind of going in there. Okay, got it. So what I've done with the Sculpey is I made a ball and I poked a hole with something sharp. It could be a pencil, it could be a skewer like I have, and I turned it over and I poked the bottom of the skewer in there. So it looks like that. Looks like an eyeball, yes? But I also, if you turn it to the side, I kind of took the ball, once I rolled it in a ball, and I made kind of a snow cone effect. So I've got this, like, it looks like a, see that? It's a little bit like a, I don't know, little pointed ball. And so I've got these holes in here where I'm going to put the eyeballs, make them big enough. And as you can see, I could just put that pointed part in there and have it look like an eyeball. So to hold it in there, I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue. I'm going to do one eyeball, just a little bit of glue, screw that kind of in there, push it in there, like that. Then I take the other eyeball, which I can't find right now. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it rolled around. And I'm going to push that one in there. So we got that going on, right? What I've also done, and I baked these ahead of time, is eyebrows. So I think this one goes over here. We're going to make it go over there, I think. And then see if this one would go over there. I made them kind of like this. Like an S going down. So I'm going to put a little hot glue on this eyebrow over here to glue it on. And make them look kind of mad. You know, mostly like unicorns are kind of like, oh, hi, how's it going? But this one's like a gargoyle. So he's going to have attitude. So here's the other one going on there. Here's the other eyebrow. It's kind of like an S. So see how that makes him look kind of mad and scary? Hang on. So now we got nostrils going on too. I'm going to take a black magic marker before I put the nostrils on, and I'm going to color in a nostril. Don't you guys love nostrils? You should. Without nostrils, how are you going to breathe? You know? But they are kind of scary because boogers hide inside of nostrils. That's where they grow, I guess. So I've got two nostrils here that I'm going to glue on. I've already baked them, just so we can do this and you can see how it's going to turn out. There's a nostril. And here's the other nostril. Check that out. So I could actually, if I wanted to, once it cools down, I might add a little more black magic marker in there. I think I will, just so it looks like a deep nostril. And then I've built some teeth that are fangs. I'm going to glue those on. They're going to go down here. It kind of looks like a mouth already with this cardboard piece. So I'm going to put one fang there. And when I was building these, I pushed them onto this cardboard thing so they would fit nicely once they were hard. Sculpey, once you bake it, is a little bit like ceramic. So there's two fangs. And I've got two more teeth I'm going to put in the middle of all that fangage. Is that a word, fangage? Maybe. I just made it up. Hello. So there's a tooth, and there's a tooth. Remember, you got to do this quickly to put them in place because they only have about 10 seconds to dry. So that's my gargoyle of a unicorn. We've got this black material also, and I could do a couple of things like this. Let me tell you too, don't get the idea that you have to make your gargoyle like my gargoyle. It's a lot of imaginative stuff. If you like lizards, if you like dragons, if you like werewolves or mummies or anything scary, or even if you want to make a mom gargoyle, or I don't know, a policeman gargoyle. You know, you could do anything. But so I could put this up here, but I don't know if I like that because it kind of looks like a dragon. See? So I think I'm going to take the material that I have, and I think I'm going to like do horse ears, sort of. And how I'm going to cut them is I'm going to cut them sort of like a leaf shape. So I'll cut a piece about like this, and another piece about the same size. I'm measuring here. So I've got these two pieces, they're square, but I'm going to cut them into kind of a little bit of a point. And I'll show you why in just a minute. And I used to build puppets a lot, so this is a good way to build ears for animals that need ears like that are pointed, kind of like a camel or a llama or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue a little bit in the bottom of this thing, and when I put it together, that will hold itself up like that. See, I got that. Dries real quickly, almost done. Do the other one, Rodney. There we go. So now I've got two ears that look like horse's ears, and I'm going to put them right there in the back of the gargoyle unicorn. Which actually makes it kind of look even scarier. If you have acrylic paint and you want to paint this, you can use acrylic paint on this super scopy features like the eyeballs, make them white or green or blue or whatever color you like. So I'm just holding this. It's so wonderful how quickly it does that. Then we also have more leftover fabric. We could cut something that looks kind of like a mohawk for the unicorn, like a mane. You know, horses have manes. So I'm going to cut a thing like this and go back around, almost like the waves of an ocean. Back and forth, around and around. And then I'll cut it in a flat space. Trim this up a little bit, make it a little more pointy, because hair is usually pointy when it's flying in the breeze. So I've got a thing sort of like that. And I could put it right down the middle so it looks like the mane of a horse. What do you think? I kind of like that. Do you? If you don't, that's okay. This is my unicorn gargoyle made out of this piece of packaging. I'm gonna get my glue gun, shoot some glue on the down the middle. It's kind of like a mohawk. Put that on there real quick. So it's a little bit like a dragon and a little bit like a unicorn, but kind of like, hey, don't be bad. Don't go the evil way. Don't go to the dark side because something could get you. Yeah? So that's what I came up with if you have this kind of cardboard. Next, we're going to do something different if you happen to have this type of cardboard. Okay? And let me just say, these are from packaging. You might find something in your life. We just got an air cleaner last week, and we had a packaging thing that I thought that could be a cool gargoyle. Maybe you could cut out part of an egg carton and do something like that out of this. But these are just in packaging to help protect furniture or something that was being shipped. And so they're cardboard and easy to utilize. I think it looks really great with the gray Sculpey, and it's kind of rough. It kind of looks like stone, doesn't it? So you can easily hang this on the wall somewhere, put it on your door. Don't come in unless you're a good person or be afraid of evil. Don't go there. Okay? So, in just a second, I will show you what I'm going to come up with this part. If you have this kind of piece as a gargoyle. Okay? Thanks. So we've done this unicorn gargoyle, and some of you don't have this construction piece. Now we're going to take this piece, and what I have fabricated with this piece is similar to the gargoyle. I made a couple of eyeballs, but this has little recesses in it at the top. So it's going to be real simple to take my hot glue gun and put a little hot glue in each of those recesses and drop in the eyeballs that are just a little bit creepy and a little bit scary because it's a gargoyle. Yeah, they're looking right at you like that. And then what I did too is I thought, okay, this is going to be kind of a sort of a cat thing, but instead of just a cat, I put a horn on its nose, sort of like a rhinoceros. Actually, two horns that I made on my Super Sculpey and baked ahead of time. So they's got two horns on there, and I made a tongue to fit into his mouth. I baked that. I'm going to put a little hot glue in there to glue that tongue in when he's spouting out the water. Looking pretty good, huh? And I didn't have to do this because I know they're made out of stone, but I went ahead and I took some of my extra material and I made eyebrows. So it makes him look really kind of angry, like an angry cat bat gargoyle. This looks like a lot of the gargoyles you see online. There's books. There's one I have called Night at the Museum of Gargoyles Actually Come Alive. And there was a very popular show, I think in the 80s, called Gargoyles. It's an animated cartoon where gargoyles were like superheroes and kind of saved the day. So that's what I've got so far, right there. And then I've taken my material and I made sort of like two bat wings. But they're kind of floppy, you see that? So if you will take that and sort of fold it over a little bit, that gives it a ridge and a little bit of rigidity, so it's stiffer. You see that? So I'm going to put a little hot glue in there to hold that down, just at the very bottom right there. Fold it over. That's going to transfer that whole thing to be a little bit stiff. And squeeze it together. Careful not to burn yourself. See how it's standing up like that? Here's the other ear, all floppy. This one not so floppy. Do this one the same way. A little bit of hot glue there. Fold it over. Don't burn yourself, please. Hold it for just a few seconds till you can feel it cooling off. Okay. Feels pretty good. See, I love hot glue because it sets up so quickly. So then my plan was, I'm going to glue these like two big bat ears on the back. And I'm going to glue them with some hot glue on the back where I want them glued. I'm going to do it on the ear. Glue it right there. You could paint these if you want to, but like I said, most of the gargoyles are carved out of stone, so you don't really need to. But I was really into gargoyles for a while because I was making them out of ceramic clay. And some of those that at the end of the very first part of this video that you saw were my own gargoyles that I had made. And some were out of polymer clay also. So I'm gluing this down wherever I think it needs a little bit more help to attach. This is actually looking a lot like a gargoyle you might see somewhere. Gotta get the other ear on. Another glue stick out. Pop it in the old glue gun. Whoops. Making it happen as it happens. Okay, so this gargoyle has two giant bat ears and horns on his nose. If you have some extra of this Sculpey, you could add fangs, you could add nostrils like we did before. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take my black magic marker and give him some big black nostrils right where they might go. But it's really kind of fun, isn't it? To like imagine this stuff and imagine if gargoyles came alive and what if there was your friend? What if your friend was, the best friend was a gargoyle? Wow. In that cartoon show I mentioned, they only come alive at night. Yeah. They're stoned during the daytime, but at nighttime they come out. So I did some gargoyle action there. Some black. So these are two gargoyles. I want you to look up gargoyles, read about them a little bit, realize it could be any kind of thing. Like I said, maybe you find another thing after you do this that you could add horns to, and a face, and a scary face, or bulging eyeballs, and make your own gargoyle. Okay? So, love you guys. Thanks. Wish I could be with you for real time, but this is how to build a gargoyle out of a couple of interesting cardboard shapes. Yeah? See you later.